All right, welcome back to Noob School. This is where we interview outstanding people in the business community, and we take them back to when they started, particularly when they started in sales, and see what we can learn and pass on to the rest of you. So today I have a good friend and old friend, Ivan Mathena. Welcome, Ivan.
Thanks, John.
When did we meet? How old were you?
I was probably 4.
3 or 4. That's
Three or
right.
4. So you've known me a while.
You were son Jack's best friend.
That's right.
Yeah, still
That's
are.
right. Still are.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Yeah. So I've known you for a long time, and you've been consistent. You've been consistent.
I try to be.
Yeah, you're a great friend, and quirky. I think you were quirky when you were 4.
Quirky is a good
still
word.
Quirky.
It never. Some things don't change.
That's good.
Yeah.
But you
That's
are.
right.
So, in terms of professional life, I know you went to Furman,
I did.
right around the corner from where you grew up,
Yeah.
in Travelers Rest.
Yeah.
And you majored in political science.
I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll get back to that political thing later.
Sure.
All right. And then, was your first job after Furman in sales?
No. My first job after Furman was just working on the plant floor, manufacturing company with my family.
That's your family's company.
That's right.
Okay.
We cut paper.
Paper
And so
cutters.
I was stacking paper.
Paper cutters.
That's right.
I knew you cut paper.
Yeah.
You could tell by the name.
Yeah. We don't leave a lot to the imagination.
So you take paper and you cut it to the specs of people who are doing packaging.
That's right. People will have all sorts of needs, so they'll come to us with pallet covers or box dividers, slip sheets, stuff like that, and we take big rolls of paper and cut them down into packaging goods.
And so you were right after school. You were learning that business, but I bet you did some in school and high school. And
Oh yeah, I've been working there since 7th grade, probably.
yeah, that's cool.
Off and on.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you worked on the floor, and
That's
then what happened next after that?
I eventually moved into quality control, and then eventually I moved into what we call business development. So I built some systems on the back end inside the company internally so that we can handle external sales.
Yeah.
And then I also build relationships and sales accounts on the outside as well. Kind of sync those two things up.
And so you did that.
Yep.
And then did you go in sales after that, or did you do more?
Because it's a family business, you tend to wear a lot of hats. So I would say I still do that, but I started really handling sales in the past 3 years. That's when I really started focusing in on developing new business for the company.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So you pretty much did a lot of everything in the company for the first 12 years
That's
or so.
right. Yeah.
And then you've been focusing on sales since then.
That's right.
Okay. And why the change? Why put your focus just on sales at that time?
Well, with our company, I mean that's the top. I mean that's what directs where our company goes. That keeps the oars going.
Yeah.
Keeps the sales moving forward. And it kind of directs everything. It directs operations. It directs purchasing. So we can kind of strategically direct the company while at the same time securing sales on the front end.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And give me some examples of some successes you've had with finding new customers or large accounts or something.
So a lot of the time, 75% of our business probably is working with distributors. But every once in a while, you'll end up meeting a company, whether it's through those connections with distributors or just on a lark. We work with GE a lot. We work with WinCup. There's a company that's working on sustainable packaging products for places like McDonald's, trying to eliminate plastic, but at the same time, not give you the types of paper straws that you have that just kind of fall apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of that is product development. I mean, when they come to us, they don't necessarily know what they need, and they don't necessarily know how they're going to produce it. And part of my job is to figure out the logistics of producing that product and getting it to them in a timely manner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're the sales story there is you're trying to help them figure out what they need.
That's right.
And that happens a lot in sales. The customer knows they got a problem, but they need an expert to help them figure out what that is.
Yeah, I think that's right. In our business, especially because it's a niche that most people aren't particularly aware of. They're not, you don't spend a lot of time about thinking about paper converting, and so when people come to us, it's usually about problems that they're not particularly used to.
Yeah, that's good. That's what you want, right?
It's great.
Yeah. So, tell us about your process in terms of advertising, getting new leads, conversion.
So a lot of our business is based on reputation, and I think that that's probably normal for family businesses. But we kind of wanted to work off that. So when we decided to really develop a sales and marketing program, we decided to anchor it based on reputation and start just reaching out to people. And we didn't really, our position was not to do a hard sell of the company. It was to just do a hard sell of what we know about the industry and how we can help people. Mm-hmm. And we just stuck to that. Mm-hmm. We started working with LinkedIn and really just kind of making connections with distributors, word of mouth.
And so I don't understand in your world what a distributor is. Who's a distributor?
So a distributor would be someone that goes to a BMW, for instance, or a GE, and sells them a package of packaging supplies. So you've got a GE. They don't want to order tape, wrapping, strapping, plastic boxes. They don't want to do all that. And they don't want to do each individual part. It just doesn't make sense for them. So what they do is they buy from an Atlantic or a Morissette, and those companies will come to us. They'll come to tape manufacturers. They'll come to plastics. They put together a package of those packaging supplies, and then they sell that to the end user. Okay,
and that's a big part of your customer base.
I would say that's 75% of our customer base.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us something that you thought about being in sales that turned out to not be true.
I would say I had this idea that, I did political science at Furman, so I thought that I was going to be way behind coming into business because I didn't have a business degree.
Yeah.
And I thought that everyone would be speaking in this lingo that I just didn't understand. It was going to be, and that's just not really true from what I've seen. A lot of it is just, sales is really just connecting with other human beings and helping them out.
Yeah.
And doing what you say you're going to do. That's really all. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Help people out. And if you're there and you're consistent and you pick up the phone, people do business with you.
Yeah. I agree. That's well said.
Treat them with respect.
Yeah. Well said. I think that people, myself included, sometimes you get hung up on, I've got this degree and didn't. You can get caught up on the lingo in like a day and a half with YouTube.
Yeah.
You can just watch all these videos and
LinkedIn. You can watch YouTube. You can catch up quickly. You can do online school.
Yeah.
You can do online courses.
Could have saved some money. Furman's pretty expensive.
Yeah. Did you know? An aside, I did some night school courses after Furman and figured out that you could just audit classes if you wanted. You could just show up. You just make friends with the teachers. It's great.
Tell us about a few of the good kind of decisions you made along the way in terms of being a sales leader.
Keeping my head down and staying focused on one thing that I tended to do, staying focused on my job. I would tend to, you see a lot of things going on in a company and you can get distracted by all the different problems that arise in any company. But if you stay focused on the people that you have projects with and the people that you need to help, that helps a lot.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
That's a great one. And listen, I did it myself, and I've seen countless other people do it. Instead of focusing on making their number or making their sales, they're like, man, shipping's messing me up, or the boss doesn't know what he's doing, or, everything but yourself, right?
And those problems are going to exist anywhere you go.
Yeah.
They're always going to be around. Your job is to figure out solutions for yourself and your customer and work through all those systems.
Yeah. That's great, Ivan. That's great. Every noob should listen to that, because wherever they go, there's going to be something that bugs them. And many times, if you think that marketing should be doing this or that, you might not have all the information. You're a noob, for goodness sakes.
Yeah. So many of the problems that we see at our company and that I see just in generally, it's a miscommunication. There's a lack of information that's just not been passed along. If something sounds wrong, probably is. Like, do a little bit more digging.
Yeah.
You'll find out that there's probably a solution out there. Just,
What's one thing you wish you had known about sales when you started?
I would hate to come back to this, but again, it's the human aspect of it. I mean, it's just connecting with people. I again, really, and I mean, we're in a family business. We've got 40 to 50 employees. We're smaller, but we don't deal with huge year-end reports and quarterly financial. So it's easy for me to say this, but it's still a very human business. Like, a lot of the people that I deal with, a lot of my accounts, they're all facing the same problems that I face, like picking up kids after school and doing this and doing that. Like, it's a very human business, and sales is just that. It's connecting with them and figuring out how to help.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's good. It's a people business.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite word, Ivan?
I use eclectic a lot.
Okay.
Thinking about the quirky word.
Quirky.
Yeah, quirky is good.
Eclectic is a better way to
eclectic.
say it.
I'll take eclectic. No, but I do use that a lot. I like a wide variety of interests and all that stuff. So.
It makes it easy to talk to you.
I'd hope.
You got a lot of stuff to talk about.
A lot of stuff. And I am quirky.
Well, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. So, almost lastly, best advice for the noobs. Do you have any last remarks?
Best advice would just be, again, not to double back on this, but stay honest. Do what you say you're going to do. Pick up the phone. Respond to people. If you can, day of. I mean, if you can respond to people day of and you solve their problem then, they don't need to keep looking for solutions.
Right.
I mean,
They could keep calling.
Yeah, they don't need to keep calling other people.
Yeah.
You give them a solution, and that's that. So that would be my advice.
That's good. That's good. So we're toward the end. We want you to promote yourself a little bit. Why don't we start with paper cutters and just tell us who the ideal customer or distributor is, in case we have anyone listening.
So we really like to convert paper for mid-sized companies that do off-brand food products, stuff like independent tinfoil, for instance. Tinfoil companies that will make, instead of Reynolds wrap, it's the off-brand type.
Yeah.
We sell a lot of paper that goes into the tubes that go inside the tinfoil.
Okay.
So stuff like that. Packaging, distribution.
So any packaging. Would these people be mostly around here?
Yeah.
Because the paper.
Upstate's exploding. We're seeing a lot of growth in upstate.
But most of your customers are within.
I would say within 50 to 100 miles of here.
And is that because the paper doesn't travel that well, or it's expensive to move it, or what?
Yeah, I mean, it's expensive to move it. That we've got a mill here in Greenville. We've got one down in Hartsville. We've got mills in Tennessee and Georgia. That usually these businesses tend to be regional, just because you've got, salesmen aren't going to travel that far. I mean, it's a commodity.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Okay. And then how could they reach you if they want to talk about paper?
Our website is papercuttersinc.com. My email address is imathena@papercuttersinc.com.
Papercuttersinc.com. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about, we talk about political science. This
yeah.
led to your political situation. Now,
Sure.
Ivan's running for office up in Travelers Rest.
That's right.
Tell us about that, what you're running for and why you're running and what you're going to do when you win.
So I'm running for County Council District 19. We've got primary day on June 14th, which is my birthday. So it's also Flag Day. So hoping people go out and vote. My goal is to get the conversation on the county council level back on track. And in my view, it's slipped a bit off track. And again, hate to go back to it, but it's just showing people respect. It's talking to people, communicating, doing your job, showing up, doing the things that are the basic stuff.
Yeah. And so I don't quite understand what that means. I don't live in Travelers Rest either, but not talking to county council, what does that mean?
Well, so there are a number of conversations. So the county council is basically an administrative and it's a marketing body. And it basically attracts business to the upstate, and then it sort of manages how that business distributes itself throughout the upstate. And in order to do that, you have to be willing to have conversations with businesses that are looking at coming to the upstate. You have to be willing to have conversations with other county council members. You have to be willing to have conversations with the city council and the mayor and the state. And if you decide not to have those conversations, or you just decide that it's too much work, or you just decide that if you can't have something, no one in the upstate can have something, that derails the conversation. I mean, it just, because the county council operates as one body. So while you may feel like it's just your district, you got to work with everyone in the district. And a good example of this is, I don't know how much attention everyone pays to the Greer Inland Port, but that was a project that went on in Greer. It was an upstate project that every county every council member was involved in. It didn't come to 19, but our business in 19 is hiring in 19 because of the benefits from the inland port. We're able to buy and sell paper all over the world now.
Yeah.
So there are things like that come to the county council, and you just have to be willing to have those conversations and treat people with respect and move the ball forward.
Good. So you want to be on that council?
Yeah, I think. I mean, for 4 years.
Yeah.
It's a 4-year term. I'd like to do it for 4 years. I'd like to get it back on track. And then, to be honest with you, I've got more paper to cut. So I'm not planning a political career. This is 19 happens to be our backyard. It's where we grew up. It's where our company is. So.
Yeah. Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
I might have to move up there so I can vote.
Well, I appreciate that. You're welcome to come up.
But you've been a great guest, and you and your family, your dad run a great business, and appreciate you passing on some of the stuff you've learned.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Bam.